place it face down on the fusion deck zone. Next, show your opponent that your side deck has exactly 15 cards. Count the cards face down. Okay, now decide who goes first with a coin toss, or rock, paper, scissors. The winner of the coin toss gets to choose whether to go first or second. For later duels in the match, the loser of the previous duel decides who starts first. Both players draw 5 cards from the top of their own decks. These 5 cards are the first cards in your hand.
Draw phase. In this phase, you draw 1 card per turn from the top of your own deck.
Standby phase. If there are any cards on the field that specifically state that certain actions must be taken during this phase, these must be dealt with here. If there is no such card, then let's move on to main phase 1.
Main phase 1. During this phase, from your hand, you can normal summon or set a monster card, activate and set spell cards, and set trap cards. Normal summon or set a monster. First up, let me explain the monster cards. There are only 2 ways to place a monster card onto the field from your hand during your turn. One way is called a normal summon, and the other is called a set. Placing a monster in face-up attack position from your hand is called a normal summon. Placing a monster in face-down defense position from your hand is called a set. When you normal summon a monster, put the monster card in your hand onto the field face-up and vertically. This indicates that the monster card is in attack position. When you set a monster, put the monster card in your hand onto the field face down and horizontally. The monster card is in defense position. During your turn, you can only place 1 monster in your hand onto the field. So, during the same turn, you cannot set a monster after you normal summoned a monster, and vice versa. Remember, you cannot change the battle position of a monster during the same turn in which it was summoned or set. When you normal summon or set a high-level monster, you have to send 1 or more monsters on the field to the graveyard as a tribute. You can normal summon or set a monster whose level is 4 or lower directly from your hand. However, for a monster that is level 5 or 6, you must offer 1 monster. For a monster that is level 7 or higher, you must offer 2 monsters from your side of the field as a tribute. In other words, you cannot normal summon or set a powerful high-level monster from your hand right off the bat. You can change the battle position of monster cards you placed on the field during previous turns. But remember, you can't change the battle position of monsters that have already attacked during the same turn. There are 2 other ways to summon a monster onto the field: flip summon and special summon. Check out the rulebook for specifics. One last thing. You can't flip your monster face down again once it becomes face up due to a flip summon, your opponent's attack, or another card's effect. Activate or set spell cards or set trap cards. During the main phase of your turn, you can activate or set spell cards or set trap cards. When you activate a spell or trap card, put the card face up in the spell and trap card zone. To set a spell card or trap card, put the card face down in the spell and trap card zone. You can activate a spell card directly from your hand during your turn, but you must set a trap card on the field. You can activate trap cards after the start of your opponent's next turn. After you activate and resolve the effect of spell or trap cards, these cards are destroyed and sent to the graveyard. For example, if I activate the spell card Monster Reborn, I can special summon 1 monster to the field from either player's graveyard. After I resolve this effect, I place the Monster Reborn spell card in my graveyard. The cards with equip or continuous icons remain on the field after you activate them until they are destroyed. Also, remember that usually, if you set a spell card on the field, you cannot activate it during your opponent's turn. Unlike monster cards, you can activate or set spell cards and trap cards as long as you have an extra space on the spell and trap card zone. However, you are unable to activate or set cards when the spell and trap card zone is filled with 5 cards. One last important thing to remember. Field spell cards can only be used on the field card zone. The field spell card is not included in the 5-card limit of the spell and trap card zone. Only one active field spell card can exist on the entire field. If your opponent activates a new field spell card, your active field spell card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Also, if your active field spell card is on the field, you cannot activate or set a new field spell card.
Battle phase. After main phase 1, you can battle against your opponent using your attack position monsters. This is called the battle phase. Each of your monsters in attack position can attack once during each of your turns. However, you do not have to conduct your battle phase if you don't want to. Depending on the situation, you can choose whether to attack or not. The starting player cannot conduct the battle phase during his or her first turn, but he or she can attack during the second turn. During the same turn, you can attack with as many monsters as you have in attack position on your side of the field. But you don't have to make all your monsters attack. You can decide which monsters to attack with depending on the situation. If there is a monster on your opponent's side of the field, your attack's target is that monster. Usually, you cannot attack your opponent's life points directly as long as there are any monsters on your opponent's side of the field. If there are no monsters on your opponent's side of the field, you can damage your opponent's life points directly. The target of each of your attacking monsters is only one monster or one player. This means one monster cannot attack multiple targets. We'll give you more details about the battle phase in the next chapter.
Main Phase 2. In Main Phase 2, you can basically do the same things as in Main Phase 1. Once per turn, you can normal summon or set one monster and can change the battle position of your monsters that are on the field. However, keep in mind that you cannot change the battle position of monsters that have already attacked during this turn.
End phase. In this phase, announce the end of your turn to your opponent. If you have more than 6 cards in your hand, discard cards to the graveyard until only 6 cards remain in your hand.
End of the duel. Each player alternately repeats the process from the draw phase to the end phase. When one player's life points reach 0, or when one player cannot draw a card, the winner is decided.
That's the end of the duel. Chapter 5, Battle and Damage. Here we're going to explain more about the battle phase. The battle phase is conducted as follows.
One, start step. Declare that you're entering the battle phase.
2, battle step. Select and announce which of your monsters you'll be attacking with. Next, select one of your opponent's monsters as the target of your attacking monster. If you would like to attack with another of your attacking monsters, repeat this process after each attack resolves. If there are no monsters on your opponent's side of the field, the target of the attack will be your opponent's life points.
3, damage step. When you attack a face-down monster, flip it face up so that you can check its card table. The monster flipped face up remains face up on the field unless it's destroyed. If there are any effects, such as flip effects, calculate the damage first and resolve the effects at the end of this step. Damage calculation. When your opponent's monster is in attack position, compare the attack points of both monsters. When your attacking monster's attack points are higher than the attack points of your opponent's monster is destroyed. Subtract the attack points of your opponent's monster from the attack points of your attacking monster, and deduct the difference from your opponent's life points. When your attacking monster's attack points are equal to the attack points of your opponent's monster, neither player takes damage, but both monsters are destroyed. When your attacking monster's attack points are lower than the attack points of your opponent's monster, your monster is destroyed. Subtract the attack points of your attacking monster from the attack points of your opponent's monster, and deduct the difference from your life points. When your opponent's monster is in defense position, compare the attack points of your attacking monster and the defense points of your opponent's monster. When your attacking monster's attack points are higher than the defense points of your opponent's monster is destroyed, but no damage is dealt to your opponent's life points. When your attacking monster's attack points are equal to the defense points of your opponent's monster,